What's up, dudes? Today we are taking a deep dive into the fundamental piloting skills and their mechanics in EVE Online. It all starts with the basics: approach, orbit, and keep at range. Sounds simple, right?
But wait, there's more!
No, actually it is that simple, but let's break down the game mechanics of these simple commands. First off, let's talk about the approach command. Shortcut is the Q key. You're going to attempt to approach your target until you are 0 meters away. So, as you can see, you will fly directly at your target, and if they aren't moving, or if you aim it just right if they are, you will run into your target. This is known as a bump. Factoring in your ship's velocity, aka speed, and your mass, aka weight, compared to your targets, you will bump the ship you hit, and your ship will bounce off. This is an important mechanic as there are many actions that are limited by your range from a target. Docking, tethering, and jumping on stargates, to name a few, all of which require you to be within 2,500 meters. So this can be quite handy trying to keep someone from jumping or docking. As you can see in this clip, they get a good bump on me to prevent me from docking, and they secure the kill. The other side of it involves your weapon's optimal range and fall off. If your target is moving, or you don't directly approach into them, you will do a small slingshot action past your target. This is a vital mechanic, as you and your target will likely scram and web each other as soon as possible, making it difficult to close the distance if they don't continue to approach you. So you need to keep this slingshot action in mind in relation to your weapon system, since this will dictate the starting range of your fight. If you're using blasters and void ammo, for example, you may start a fight at an extremely unfortunate distance where you're too far away to apply any damage. While if you're using rockets, this may be a fantastic position to start up a brawl, setting you up perfectly as Scram Kite. Next in line is the orbit command, shortcut W key. You can right-click and select Set Distance to select a custom distance for orbit or keep at range. This can be set to any distance between 500 meters and 1 million meters. This is important to set when you first undock. Do you want a kite? Set it to 16 to 20 kilometers. Brawling's more your style, go for 500 meters if you're trying to get under their guns, or up to about 7,500 meters if you're trying to Scram Kite. When you hit that orbit button, your ship will approach directly towards or away from our target until it reaches the set range. Then your orbit will commence. It's important to keep in mind that due to your momentum, your ship will generally settle into an orbit a few kilometers further than what you set. So you can decide how aggressive you'd like to be. A tighter orbit will be harder to shake, but you'll also be easier to catch. Then let's not forget about keep at range. This command will attempt to keep your ship at the set range from your target. So to achieve this, we will directly approach or fly away from our target to keep it at the desired range. So now that we know the basic commands, how do we decide whether to orbit or keep at range? This requires some game knowledge on how our ship is fit and how our enemy ship is likely fit. So that means understanding your own weapon system and how it applies damage, and knowing what weapon system our enemy ship is likely using. Is it guns, missiles, drones? We want to choose the option that puts us at an advantage and our enemy at a disadvantage. Orbit is usually advantageous for our missile ships. Since missiles don't rely on tracking like gun-based weapons do, orbit will make it challenging for our opponent to hit us, especially if they have guns with poor tracking. While keep at range is usually ideal for our gunships. We can use keep at range to position us at our weapon's optimal range to maximize our application and therefore our DPS. In essence, the decision between orbiting and keeping at range is a dynamic one that depends on the specific situation, ship types, and weapon systems that are involved. So a solid understanding of your ship's capabilities and your opponent's vulnerabilities will guide you to make the right call for each engagement. Then I wanted to touch on a much more advanced game mechanic that is actually crucial to understand its impact on our trinity of approach, orbit, and keep at range. And they are server ticks. So, picture this. The EVE servers engage in a constant conversation with our game clients, ideally communicating with our clients at a rate of 1 hertz, or once every second, giving our game clients the information it needs to render our universe for the next second. I say ideally as if there's too much information to process in 1 second, this information overload is where time dilation, aka tie-dye, comes from. But now you're probably wondering, Bull, what the are you talking about? What does this have to do with our basic piloting commands? Well, our holy trinity of spaceship commands are basically our ship flying on autopilot.
Automatic pilot.
Automatic pilot. There it is.
So, in order for our autopilot to react to our enemy's movement, our enemy's piloting command needs to be sent to the server, acknowledged, and returned to our client in order for our autopilot to make the necessary corrections. This results in a 1 to 2 second delay between an enemy action and our ship's reaction, depending on where it lands in the server tick and our latency to the server, which boils down to how far away from the London servers do you live. What all this means is that if someone manually pilots towards your ship or hits approach, there will be up to a 2-second delay before your autopilot attempts to correct your orbit to the desired range. This delay is actually the magic mechanic that allows slingshotting to work. It also is the reason why ships are considered to be instant warp if the align time is under 2 seconds, your align time being rounded up to the next second, or instant locking if it's under 1 second, though latency kind of makes these oversimplifications and not hard rules. But these all have to do with how server ticks affect our game mechanics. Understanding the mechanics behind our basic piloting commands will allow you to utilize them more effectively and also take advantage of their shortcomings with the more advanced manual piloting techniques so that we can outfly our enemies. That wraps up our basic piloting mechanics. I hope you found this breakdown helpful. If you enjoyed the video, please drop a like and subscribe so you don't miss any future guides or PvP action. And please leave a comment with any feedback on things I can improve, or if there's a specific topic that you'd like to see discussed further. Thanks for watching, guys. I really do appreciate it. And fly dangerous.